Where my old farm used to be, the property that I used to own. It's kind of different now. It's all grown in with weeds. There's no dumping. I almost died right over this hill, crossing the Missouri crossing. Butterfly. It was such a beautiful natural area. I hated to see the people that I sold it to cut the trees. I didn't cut them myself because I didn't want to see them get cut. And because of that, I lost $100,000. But I didn't want to see them get cut. Now the area has changed quite a bit. And I knew this creek down here was going to be growing and getting larger. And there's the Missouri crossing down there that I tried to cross right above it. And when I did, I got swept over that crossing and into the water and almost drowned. Today, it would be almost impossible to walk over there. Used to be, you could walk over those areas, over that Missouri crossing, almost half the year. Protected natural area, private property, public welcome, foot traffic travel only, no motor vehicles, the Nature Conservancy, protecting nature, preserving life. The public's welcome now on this ground. And they actually allow hunting down here now, I'm told. Well, the only thing that I used the area for was hunting. And now I don't have to pay the taxes on it. And I could still hunt here if I wanted to. But it's really changed. There was some fantastic fishing right around the corner from here. Catch great big channel catfish. And there are flatheads in here. There are people that come down here to fish all the time. Anymore, I don't know whether you can fish or not down here. Well, I'm sure you can since it's public. But a person can easily drown here. There's a lot of water moving through here. And I knew there would be if this was ever, if the trees were ever cut. This is deep in here now. Maybe 7, 8, maybe 10 feet deep. This bank dropped off a long ways. And I used to walk down across it. It was fairly deep right in here, maybe 3, 4 feet. When you get down there to the Missouri crossing, a lot of times it was really muddy and not so deep. But when the water's like this, you don't want to cross this. Not swimming, not otherwise. Once you get caught in that section below that Missouri crossing, you might die. I swam for a long time that day, and finally, with God's help, I got to the shore. The last thing I thought before I went down for the last time was God. And when I thought God, I seen the bubbles come up out of my mouth towards the surface. And all of a sudden, I felt my feet touch the soil. I'm going to walk on down here as I walked down here many, many times. Every time I came down to my property, not every time, but most of the time, there'd be people fishing down here on my property. And I thought, I'm paying all this money for this place for myself, and yet there's others fishing it all the time. We tried to build up this Missouri crossing down here one time, but the water kept coming up and expanding and expanding. and we couldn't keep the crossing, and we couldn't build a bridge, go across it. I used to drive right down through here. It doesn't look like I'm going to be driving through here anymore. Brandon and I took a canoe down here many times and canoed across when you couldn't walk across. But oh my goodness, it's getting bigger and bigger, and it's eating out ground. The Missouri crossing was right there. That's where the road was. It went across to the old farmstead. And now it's really grown and grown and grown. This is all washed out again. You couldn't drive your tractor down here anymore. I thought about driving my combine over here, but it was going to cost so much in gas to bring it over here. The farmer that owned this ground several years before I owned it actually farmed and lived over there. Anyway, a lot of sand here now that wasn't here before. Still a lot of deer trails. But this is a nature conservancy now, and that's really what I wanted to see it become anyway. This was a beautiful, beautiful area. The day I almost drowned was right over there on the bank, and there were trees over there then, and about where that old dead tree is leaning to the right there is where I finally got to the shore. And when I got to the shore, I pulled myself up on the bank, and a little fawn jumped up and ran off into the timber ahead of me. But first, before it ran off into the timber ahead of me, it took one last look at me. This was the waterfall that I went over when I was trying to walk across it. No walking across it today. But when I tried to walk across it, this is where I was crossing right up in there and trying to get across here, and it swept me over this Missouri crossing and swept me into that water. Now I can see over there on that bank, it's cutting it out even more than what it ever did. It's really getting wider and wider and wider. Several times I camped on a sandbar down around that corner, and there are walnuts in that timber just beyond there. And the walnuts, there were squirrels in those areas. I don't know whether the squirrels are still there or not. I've never ever seen a rabbit on this place. Once in a while, I thought I heard a quail, but I don't know whether I did or not because I never did see one. Never seen a pheasant on the property. There were lots of turkeys. Lots and lots of turkeys. Anyway, this is the ground that I used to own. I had 155 acres here, and I loved it very much. Today, it's quite different. I can't believe all the times that I used to walk across right there, and the many times that I took a canoe down through here because you couldn't get through any other way. There'd be some darn good fishing in here. It'd be piled up right here underneath this waterfall. That was the old Missouri crossing. The old farmer built this and took his tractor across there and drove across there. And then the last year he was farming, they said he lost a big grain truck full of grain right here in the crossing. I'm sure the catfish were fed well. Maybe the carp. Anyway, I've seen what I came to see. I love this area here very much. I'm glad to see the Nature Conservancy buy it and put it into savings where it won't be disturbed anymore. Brandon, my favorite nephew. I shouldn't say favorite, but probably is, and most people know that. This is where we used to fish and hunt when you were a lot younger. And this is where you helped me drag the deer out when we had to drag them almost a mile. Anyway, thought maybe you'd like to see this today. Certainly won't be farming that ground over there anymore. None of this ground down in here will be farmed. It's all part of that nature conservancy. A little poison ivy right there. Try to stay out of that. I love this earth, and I love this area, and I so thank God for letting me enjoy this. No frogs down here jumping today. Used to be when you walk through here, the frogs would always be jumping through here. Maybe it's too cold. Maybe winter's coming on. Maybe there's no frogs. I don't know. Anyway, I seen the private property sign up here, and I was hoping this hadn't changed possessions again. But obviously it hasn't. A lot of fish have been caught right along the shore area here. This is a part of the Cedar River that actually cut off the property I owned. There's maybe 10, 15 acres on the side that wasn't cut off that I owned. The rest of the 140 acres was all an island, and we called my property the island property. Beautiful area, and to hear the waterfall, that's really cool. And knowing all the catfish that are up in through there. Yep, and ducks clear up in there. There's another pond, bayou, whatever, clear up around in there. And we used to fish that and shoot ducks up in there. Anyway, thought maybe you guys might enjoy seeing the property I used to own. Especially you, Brandon. Talk to you all later. Bye. Okay, and that's so much for my video.